So we'll get a chance to see this young quarterback, Brock Domann, right away for the Cardinals. Brendan Farrell will kick off. Toe meets leather, and we're underway in Charlottesville. Quincy Riley back to return this kick for the Cardinals, and he lets it sail over his head, touchback. And now our first opportunity as a starter to see Brock Domann quarterbacking this Cardinal team.
Yeah, we'll see what he can do. You know, obviously, with no Malik, that's going to be a big theme of the day, but you're going to have a different style offense. So you're going to see different style plays called than you would normally see from Louisville offensively, but it's all going to be based around the outside stretch zone. Everything that Scott Satterfield does is based on that. So expect to see a lot of that stretch zone early, some play action pass, and probably more crossing routes to break up Virginia and make them not play man-to-man.
Domann the toss on first down. Give about 4 yards, maybe 3 to Jawar Jordan before Antonio Clary was there to make the stop. You know, there's other injury issues with Louisville as well, because starting tailback Tyon Evans, the transfer from Tennessee, he injured his leg last week. He was day-to-day throughout the week. He's been ruled out, so we'll see a lot more Jawar Jordan and Travion Cooley.
Yeah, and Cooley didn't finish the game last week either versus Boston College, but he came back. He did practice full. And then Maurice Turner, the true freshman, number 20, he's also going to get some reps in there running back.
And we see Jawar Jordan transferred before last year out of Syracuse. Give the Jordan up the middle. Boom, he gets hit right at the line of scrimmage. Nick Jackson. Tony Elliott, our conversation with him this week, said Nick Jackson's his best football player on this team, especially on the defensive side. What a hit.
Yeah, and it's just really good linebacker play. You know, you shuffle over, you see, you understand what this team wants to do, you recognize the outside zone, you don't over pursue, and you bring up a third and long. And this is where Virginia has got to be better. Giving up way too many third downs. Defensively, you got to get after this young quarterback, force the ball to come out.
This Cavalier team does have 15 sacks on the year, so they've been able to get after the quarterback. They bring just 4, but they flush him out. Domann now on the move. Can he do it with his legs? Slides right before the first down marker. Let's see where they mark him. It's going to be close.
Yeah, and remember, the ball is marked where the ball is when the slide's initiated.
So we mark it just shy, Mark.
Yeah, and it did look like he got, oh, there's Nick Jackson right there.
Banged up Nick Jackson. That's bad news for the Wahoos, even though they may have gotten a stop on third down. Looks like they did, a full yard shy. We'll take a quick break. Looks like it's going to be 4th and 1. We'll update you on Nick Jackson's condition when we come back. But that was at least good to see Jackson walking off. 4th and 1. Louisville going to be forced to punt. Mark Bassett, the Aussie, in to kick this one, and he gets off a good one. He's one of the top punters in the conference, and he forces Ethan Davies back to his 20. But Davies, it's a little bit of a seam up the...
This in a way where just an improbable start to his career. Bryce Perkins leaves to go to Georgia. He steps up as the starter and then develops from this running quarterback into last year where he led everybody in terms of passing. He was doing it with his arm. And this year, it's a little bit more of both. Fitting into this new system with Tony Elliott coming in and Des Kitchens, and then also maintaining his same sort of personality and gunslinger attitude on the field.
Good sign on first down, finding Wicks, and how he'll carry it himself. He is a 1,000-yard-plus career rusher, so he has had a lot of success running the football himself. Not so much this year, just 200 yards through the first 5 games of this Cavalier season. But he found Wicks, Dontavian Wicks, right off the bat, and those two have had a hard time connecting this year, so that's a good sign, and then carrying the football on first down. Now it's Paris Jones. We'll get a couple. Ashton Gelati there on the tackle, and that's something we've seen a lot more of this year than in previous years, Mark, under Bronco Mendenhall. And that offense is that Tony Elliott comes over from Clemson, and he wants to be a little bit more traditional in terms of establishing the run with the running backs.
Yeah, well, you get a pass on first down, you got to be like, okay, they're going to run it. And whether it's first or second down, there's going to be a run within that, and that's different than last year. Last year was throw all the time. Now on third down, this is an obvious throwing situation. And you gotta look at the bottom of the screen in the slot. That's the top guy, Keaton Thompson, on third down.
Got Mike Hollins in the backfield with him. 3rd down and 8. Armstrong to throw. Has all kinds of time over the middle. Finds Lavelle Davis, who gets free inside the 30.
Well, that was good to see as well. Lavelle Davis and Dontavian Wicks, 2 guys who just have had trouble connecting with their quarterback. First 2 receptions go to those 2 guys, and Lavelle Davis, he's 6'7", 220 pounds, but he does a really good job of routes over the middle and uses his body to shield off defenders. Good catch and run there.
Armstrong to throw again. Flushed out of the pocket this time. Now chased to the sidelines, but he'll have some room to run to pick up at least a couple of yards on 1st down.
Well, it's real early in this game, but the UVA offense they're working, right? They're moving together, and it's the biggest story for UVA, especially offensively, is just the penalties and the drops. You have had so many of those miscues that have slowed down drives.
Get an opportunity to see Xavier Brown with Mish in the backfield as a fullback. Brown can't elude the first tackler, and now his teammates come, and it's a full-on gang tackle. Momo Sanogo, one of the team captains of this team, making the stop. Sanogo, the transfer in from Ole Miss. There's a good look at 23-year-old Sanogo, and playing in 2017 at Ole Miss.
In those last 2 plays that created, or the 1st down play and then the 2nd down play that created this 3rd and 14 situation, that's what we're talking about. Starting getting behind the sticks, and now it becomes an issue and hard conversion for Armstrong.
A little bit of pressure over the middle, incomplete. Tried to hit Wicks again. Jarvis Brownlee. Speaking of transfers, the transfer in from FSU making the play.
And this looks like a catchable ball, a little bit low. But that's a drop. We talk about having opportunities about a yard short of that 1st down, but now you're 4th and 1 on the 18-yard line. Go for it possibly. Now you're settling for a field goal, a long field goal at that.
Yeah, Will Bettridge, the true freshman, came in last week, kicked a 34-yarder. Now Tony Elliott's #1 field goal kicker. Let's see if he can convert here. High snap brought down, though. Bettridge gets into it and nails it. A new career long for Will Bettridge. Cavaliers take the opening kickoff, march down the field, put 3 on the board. They're up early here in Charlottesville. ACC wins of the year. Cardinals come in 0-3. Virginia and Brennan Armstrong 0-2 in league play. That's a good sign, though, as you can see, opening drive. Last year it was almost automatic for Virginia to score on the opening drive and every drive.
Yeah, it was
tougher to come by this year.
Right, exactly. And I think one of the points that the coaches made, and they're very good points about Virginia. Brennan Armstrong has had some bad throws in the past, right? But he had another opportunity the next down, and the next down, and the next down to string some together. So getting those accurate passes every single time, which you saw on that last drive, is really good sign for Virginia's offense.
Riley lets it go over his head. So another opportunity for Brock Domann, and around the block, but finally getting an opportunity at the big time here with Malik's injury last week.
How about all those time zone changes? How does he know? They keep track of what time it is anywhere.
No question. Domann to throw. Going deep for Smith, and it's intercepted. Wow. Anthony Johnson on the pick. And an inauspicious beginning for Brock Domann gives the ball back to Virginia.
Yeah, and Brock Domann took the shot. Braden Smith, the smaller wide receiver, had a step on A.J. Johnson, but that ball hung up there a little bit, and A.J. Johnson, who's 6'2", 4 inches taller than the wide receiver, did a good job of using his body. You see, there's a step right there. A good job, and one-handed interception. I mean, that's just a phenomenal play from a guy who transferred in from Louisville. He's got to feel extra good.
Right, 2nd pick of the year for Johnson. Xavier Brown sidesteps the first group of tacklers, picks up a good 7 yards on 1st down. Virginia wants to go with a little bit of tempo here. Move Xavier Brown up to the top of your screen, split up to an empty backfield for Armstrong.
And Louisville showing man-to-man with no single high safety.
That time he hits Keaton Thompson quickly for the first down. MJ Griffin on the stop. Griffin getting the start in place of Kendrick Duncan, the normal safety, free safety for Louisville. He's injured.
And that last play was a little bit more like what Virginia was last year. Spread him out, throw the football on the outside. If Armstrong doesn't have anything, him take off and run. And now you're back to the condensed set, which is more of a this year Virginia offense.
Flea flicker. Armstrong just had way too much pressure. By the time he got it back, Mark, he had nowhere to go with it.
It was a good job on the back end, too. Wicks and Lavelle Davis had the only 2 routes. Good job by the coverage. But you see, good job with the pursuit. And it's that extra linebacker who is man-to-man on the running back who can trigger. And that was the difference in the play.
Made this point on the last drive, Mark. It's getting behind the chains has been an almost real difficult situation for Virginia to get out of this year. That'll help, though, over the middle. Sackett Wood, that'll move the chains, so a big pickup on 2nd and 15 at 16. Only the second catch of the year for Sackett Wood, as they're using him more often in that tight end spot.
Yeah, they want to use Keaton Thompson more as that wide receiver in this game. He played more of that spot last week. Now, okay, there's an opportunity for Sackett Wood and Grant Mish at the true tight end spot.
Armstrong to throw. Tipped in the air and almost caught on the deflection, but it falls harmlessly incomplete. Jarvis Brownlee is very active in the secondary today on the tip.
And there's a situation where the quarterback, that's the guy you want to throw it to, but there's a defender towards the outside and on the inside. I mean, that's just a missed opportunity, inaccurate throw on the crosser.
Defensively, beautiful job by Jared Dawson, knifing in and stopping Paris Jones for no gain, maybe even a little bit of a loss on the play.
Yeah, just nothing going on the ground right now for Virginia.
3rd and 11. Mike Collins in the backfield with Brennan Armstrong.
Free play.
Yeah. Louisville was offside. Going for it all. Has Wicks out there. Touchdown, Cavaliers. "40 yards on the strike, and Armstrong hit that right in the rib.
Offside. Defense, number 70. Number 7. That penalty's declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
It's just like a freelance signal. It says, okay, go out there and make something happen. And gosh, like what better thing for Brennan Armstrong? I mean, that's the way he plays football. Okay, let me just move around and find an open guy on a shot. That was a phenomenal pass. Rolling out to his left. And good connection. That was one of the few times we've seen him and Dontavian Wicks really in sync on those deep balls. Good job pulling it in.
And you can see on the bench, it's been a frustrating start to the year for Dontavian Wicks, and his teammates know it. Bettridge with the PAT. First the pick, Mark. This got the ball back in Brennan Armstrong's hands before he was able to do something with it, and he did once he got it back.
Yeah, it's how you play complimentary football. You get the ball back on defense with a big turnover, create a short field, and then a penalty leads to a long ball for a touchdown.
Ohio just tying Matt Shaw for the all-time career touchdown passes mark at Virginia, hitting Dontavian Wicks, his 56th touchdown pass in his career. And let's take a look at that touchdown pass.
Yeah, at the bottom of your screen, defensive end, you'll see jumps off sides, see him off sides right there. So Brennan Armstrong knows he's got someone who's going to be going on that deep ball. It's on the outside. It's a conversion route. You get the deep ball and just too shallow from the safeties, unable to get over. That was Josh Minkins, and When we talked to Brian Brown, defensive coordinator for Louisville, one of the points is we need to have our safeties deeper in alignment so they can get over top of things like that. See if that adjustment comes later in the game.
Cooley, not much doing. He'll be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. And now this Cardinal offense. Nick Jackson, by the way, back in the game. So good to see number 6 for Virginia, not only back in the game, but making that tackle. He's feeling a bit spry. They got to figure something out here.
Yep, yeah, they do. And you know, it's interesting, that first drive and that run by Brock, it looked pretty good, right? And then he slid, a little bit of inexperience, he slid a yard too short rather than putting his shoulder down and getting the yard. And then all of a sudden you punt and they score, and then you throw a pick and they score, and now you're down 10.
And this Virginia defense has that outside zone play. They're dialed in to stop that right now.
They are, and they're going to load the box to do that until Domann proves that they can stretch the field. And you know, you saw that attempted shot that was intercepted, and on 3rd down and 10 now, you get a situation where you try to run some crossing routes, you try to find some open grass and get a 5-yard completion that can turn into a run.
Third down and 10. Maurice Turner, the freshman, in the backfield. Domann will throw. Pressure on the edge. Steps up. Tries to hit a covered receiver. Nothing doing. Anthony Johnson on the coverage. And it looks like another 3 and out for the Cardinals.
Big game so far by Anthony Johnson. And there's just no separation on these routes. Looked like Marshon Ford could have been open across the middle, but there's you need to get separation when you have a new quarterback. Make it easier throws for him, and just not able to connect. But all the credit to A.J. Johnson for another good play.
Fassett in the punt, second time of the day. High kick. Davies is going to call a fair catch at his 37, makes it. The strong start for the Cavaliers continues. Well, Brennan Armstrong got off to a hot start today.
Yeah, he did, and he started with confidence. He ended last game with some confidence as well, and Tony Elliott, this week said we need other guys to step up. Well, you saw Lavelle Davis step up, then you saw Wicks step up as well, and that wide receiving group coming into this year, there was so much excitement about the potential of what was returning, and they're starting to click, right? They're starting to get this new system under the belt, and you saw that success from them on those first couple drives.
Jones trying to muscle his way for additional yardage. Doesn't get much. About a yard at best. Courier there on the stop for Cardinals. Louisville's done a nice job, point of attack, stopping the run today, Mark, but they've given him some big plays through the air. Louisville brings pressure. Picked up, Armstrong. Keaton into Louisville territory.
Nice throw. And matchups comes in different forms, right? This is Keaton Thompson, your 6'5" wide receiver, matched up against Keitrell Clark, a 5'10", 180-pound wide receiver, or cornerback. So you have a size advantage, and right there, that's where Brennan Armstrong took advantage of it, where he's missed some of those throws in the past.
Armstrong again. And this is what Thompson does after the catch. Picks up yardage and picks up enough to move the sticks again.
Yeah, and same matchup. Again, okay, we're going to get 99 on 13. It's just too much of a size difference working in that slot. Good job of recognizing it and going back to it by Armstrong.
Back-to-back 16-yard passing plays. Now on the ground. Jones dropped after he picks up 5. Brownlee coming up from his cornerback spot to make the tackle. Virginia making some substitutions. Wicks out. Speedster Jameek Starling in, number 6. And they've got Mish split wide at the very bottom of your screen. You can barely see him there. He's so far wide. Go snap, handled by Armstrong. He'll look to run. Has a blocker in front, cuts it back inside,
Ball.
loses the football. Cards fall on it.
And that was out.
It was, and it's a fumble recovered by Louisville.
Chris, I was about to say, like, okay, they're doing it, right? They're mixing in some of the old with some of the new. Spread them out. Let Armstrong take off and run. Had a great stiff arm. But, man, you got to hold on to the football. And this is exactly what Louisville needed defensively.
Puts both hands around it, just got a helmet right on the ball. Desmond Tell was the one who fell on the football right there on the recovery. Can't see whose helmet it is.
It looks like Minkins.
Yeah, it is. Josh Minkins, a safety.
Man, what an opportunistic play by Louisville.
If nothing else, Mark, at this 3-minute mark of the first quarter, stemming the tide a little bit. That defense has been on the field almost the entire first quarter, under siege.
He saw a good shot there, too, of Elliott getting with his quarterback. Again, giving a little pat on the shoulder, some coaching, but also some confidence. Confidence is such a big part of Armstrong's game. And he's starting to gain it. Don't want to let that slide with that fumble.
Brock Domann's got to get some confidence here for Louisville. Their first 3 offensive possessions, 3 and out. 1 play pick, 3 and out. Three yards on the first play here. That was Trevion Cooley. Nick Jackson, again on the tackle. He's on pace to have 100 tackles today.
Yeah, speaking of 100 tackles, he didn't even play the first half of last week because he was out for a targeting call and came back in, finished the game with 10 tackles. He had 10 tackles in the second half of that game, and it's kind of what number 6 is all about. If you're going to run the football, he's going to load up on those tackles and TFLs.
2nd and 7, Cooley in the backfield. Domann will throw. Way overshoots his intended receiver. Just not on the same page right now. The thinking, you think when he came into the fourth quarter last week at BC, Mark, he didn't have those first team reps throughout the week, but this week he's been getting a lot of them.
Yeah, and again, he just threw a different ball, right? That ball was for a different route. And you talk about communication, who knows, but I think that you see Satterfield saying, hurry up. Like, you got to have a little bit of sense of urgency to get this ball out and get it on target.
3rd down and 7. Crowd getting into it here at Scott Stadium. Domann to throw. Pressure picked up. Hits his receiver. Again, Tyler Hudson having a hard time. No, now they say incomplete. Flag down on the play.
Oh, roughing the passer, number 10, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Ben Smiley getting the start. Guilty of the infraction. Smiley got the start because Aaron Falmouy, who usually is a starting defensive tackle, had too many penalties.
Yeah, and I think they got that on the wrong guy.
Yeah, it might have been Cam Butler in there, 82.
Be from the previous spot.
Smiley's over there like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't take me out, coach.
I barely got. Look at him. He's like, that wasn't me. That was somebody else. But you mentioned Smiley's in there because Tony Elliott's like, we're cracking down on these penalties. And Aaron Falmouy, who got too many of those, he's out. So it's look at this. The announcers, the ref announcing it, got Smiley pulled, and we're going to see if that's a catch or not.
Gary Patterson speaking with replay officials, and Michael Webster, our replay official. Take a look. Is this a catch? Looks like it fell between Tyler Hudson's arms. He had it initially. Take another look here.
I don't know.
There's certainly not enough to overturn the incomplete ruling on the field. Wouldn't you say, Mark? And I can't tell there whether he had it or not.
Me neither. Gosh, because of it's, a little bit.
It's right in the shadow, too.
Blurry. We can't really tell.
It's in his own shadow underneath it.
And you at home with your, a 75-inch TV, maybe you're going to be able to see this better than us. But let's see, that ball does look like it's out a little bit, and
I think
it moves. Yeah, that was a good angle right there.
Can hit the ground as long as you maintain control and the ball doesn't move in your arms when it does. But it looks like, to your point, Mark, as soon as it hits the ground, it's loose underneath it.
Yeah, it is.
It's academic. Even if they confirm it on the field, it'll be a first down for the Cardinals.
After further review, the ruling on the field has confirmed that it was an incomplete pass. The roughing the passer was against number 82 defense. That 15-yard penalty, previous spot, automatic first down.
Vindication for Ben Smiley as Cam Butler, the transfer from Miami of Ohio, the guilty party. 15 yards, first down for the Cardinals. So they get a turnover, break there, and they get a break on third down with the roughing penalty.
Yeah, now they pulled 82 out instead. But these wide receivers for Louisville, they have not been the problem. I mean, they've caught a bunch of contested catches, Tyler Hudson especially.
Not a lot of room to run, but actually a pretty good job just to get 3 yards on first down that time. As Cooley emerges from the pile. Missed this from the start. No Tyon Evans. Leg injury suffered in the BC loss last week. Sua Gunlier is injured for Virginia. Defensive tackle. Tony Elliott's having a word or two with the officiating crew. Just wants to make sure everybody's on the same page. Early going here at Scott Stadium. So Louisville's without Malik Cunningham. They're without Tyon Evans. Their starting quarterback, obviously, and their top tailback who transferred in from Tennessee in the offseason. So here's what they're missing, Mark.
Yeah, you know, and not only that, but Jalen Mitchell, who was a guy they were counting on in the backfield coming into the year, he's out as well. And so, you know, Tyon Evans did a fantastic job of just understanding the system and getting used to it as transferring in from Tennessee. But rushing yards, I mean, like all of them are basically out, and you know, Jawar Jordan, Trevion Cooley, Maurice Turner, they're all more of like receiving backs out of the backfield, learning how to run this stretch zone offense.
Jackson making the tackle again. Going to bring up third down and short. And 70% of the rushing offense for Louisville so far this season out today with injury.
Yeah, and Virginia's subbing and Louisville's going fast.
Want to move quickly. Domann from the gun. Receiver covered downfield and falls incomplete. Ventrell Cypress missed last week. Back in this week covering Tyler Hudson downfield.
Good job being physical. Louisville last week had a tough time getting off in terms of getting separation with the physical Boston College defensive backfield. It seems like they've been similar results this week.
Another punt for Mark Bassett. This third of this first quarter. Looking to pin Virginia deep. Came in averaging almost 46.5 yards per punt. End over end. This one will be shorter. Davies will let it bounce. Dangerously close to one of his teammates. Cardinals special teams kill it right there. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 20 for Virginia. Just getting started here. Full day of college football. 3:30 Eastern. Virginia Tech and Pitt. Then our primetime matchup at 8 o'clock Eastern from Raleigh. Number 14 NC State hosting a rejuvenated Florida State. That's going to be a good one tonight on the ACC network. Both games can also be streamed live on ESPN+. And the signs are always highbrow here at Charlottesville and Scott Stadium. Paris Jones in the backfield takes the handoff. Slips and falls as he tries to cut back. No gain for the Wahoos.
And in order for this offense that Des Kitchens and Tony Elliott are implementing, it's based on the run. You got to start getting more in that 1st and 2nd down runs, because the last 3 drives, I mean, it's been 2nd and 10 every single time because of either they've all been no yardage runs. And so now you're forced to throw on 2nd down and 3rd down.
All kinds of time. Wicks drops it. That is such a problem for him this year, Mark.
Yeah,
It boggles the mind. He had 1,200 yards receiving last year. He was automatic.
I know, and it's the most drops in college football. He came in with 8 drops. There's 9, and dropping 14% of the balls that come to you. I mean, that just it's hard, and especially when you a no yardage gain on 1st down, then you get a wide open wide receiver open, you deliver him the football, and there's another drop. Now it's 3rd and 10, and
saw the frustration from the Virginia coaching staff in the booth. Play was dialed up and executed perfectly. Wicks couldn't bring it in. 3rd and 10. Wahoo's 2 for 3 on 3rd down today. Over the middle. Davis leapfrogs a defender. Not enough for a 1st down, though. Monty Montgomery and Josh Minkins combine on the stop, and the Cardinal defense may be able to get off the field here as we wrap up the 1st quarter. It's been all Wahoos so far, but the Cardinals, with a defensive stand they had to have, may be able to get the ball back to see if Brock Domann can get something going for the Cards offensive. Talking to Tony Elliott this week, he said, look, it's more than a quarterback story, a lot more than a quarterback story. His teammates have to make plays around him.
Yeah, and he thought Brennan was starting to play more like Brennan, right? Like, what does that mean? But a little bit more loose and less focused on the, hey, this mistake happened, and let that carry over to the next play. And he wanted the rest of the team to do that as well, and you've seen a lot of that buy in. Wicks obviously with another drop and miscue, but you get the sense that the other guys have stepped up their performance as well.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 86, kicking team, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Junior Wilson,
15 minutes.
From Brooklyn, guilty party. May see more of him at the tight end later on in the game, but for right now, his only stat line is a 5-yard false start penalty. He'll improve upon that throughout the rest of his career here in Charlottesville.
Maybe get a tackle here.
Yeah. Ooh. Almost got to him. Sparks was able to get it off, and it's a good kick. Braden Smith from his 32. Good job of coverage by the Wahoo special teams. Wilson on the tackle.
He got the tackle. There you go. See it?
There you go, young man. Running downfield.
Nice work.
Sure, his friends and family back in Canarsie applauding that effort. Don't get down on yourself. Go down there and make the tackle. Impressive.
Yeah, one thing to note, too, Louisville this past week made some adjustments in terms of their systematic approach to the game. Lance Taylor, their new offensive coordinator, he had not been calling plays. Scott Satterfield was the one calling the plays. This week is the first time Lance Taylor is that play caller, because Satterfield wanted to spend more time with the defense.
Nice misdirection there. How about that play call, Mark?
Yeah.
Get the defense rolling one way, roll Domann out, and find your receiver.
And interestingly, right, roll Domann out to his left, right? That's what you maybe see from Armstrong, the lefty. But this is a tougher one, coming back to his right. Good job of setting up and delivering a strike.
It's 4-2. They're going to review this play. I'm not sure why. We'll take a look at it. Marshon Ford is their H-back. It's like a fullback, tight end, hybrid. We'll check on the replay when we come back. Officials were reviewing a potential targeting call against Paul Akiri. Take a look.
And, you get that lowering the head, and he does try to pull off. They ended up saying it was no targeting. So Akiri gets to stay in the game.
Akiri, another transfer from Columbia. Transfers at Virginia, of course, are coming from places like Columbia.
And look at where the safeties are, right? Everybody's within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage for Virginia.
Domann just following his blockers and picking up good yardage on 1st down. Cam Butler back in the game, makes the stop.
But that's going to be an issue, right? Like, as you start wanting to move the ball on the ground, if the safety is that close to the line of scrimmage, look at them again. I mean, they're all right down there. You got to prove you can throw it deep.
Domann over the middle, couldn't find Marshon Ford. 3rd down and 5.
Domann saw it at least and delivered the ball.
Cardinals 0 for 3 on 3rd down in the game. Domann just 1 for 6 throwing in the game. Big 3rd down here.
And play clock down to 8.
The crowd knows it. Domann gets it off. Good tough yards up the middle by Jordan. Jawar Jordan picks up the 1st down for Louisville, and they're moving.
And Jawar Jordan, he's like a sprinter with toughness that just runs the football. I mean, he gets going to top speed almost immediately. And when you get a good hole like that, it's good to do that. Good job picking up those 5 yards, and good play call by Lance Taylor, having confidence in that ground game.
They'll stick with Jordan. Nowhere to go here. Tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Josh Ahern looked like he came in from his middle linebacker spot to slow him. Got help along the way from Jonas Sanker.
Just a good look at Lance Taylor. See his play card, and he said Satterfield's still in the headsets. He's still conferring with him, but final decision comes through him.
I like that when he talked about coming here. Satterfield is known for that outside zone, right?
Yep.
So he's keeping the outside zone. He was just bringing some ideas with him from his days at Notre Dame and working for Coach Shaw at Stanford.
And you see some of those ideas. If you ever see anyone pulling on the offensive line, that's from Lance Taylor. And now just too much time getting the play call in and getting the personnel in.
That's their first charge timeout of the half.
Scott Satterfield frustrated, but better to call the timeout and get the play you want.
Your journey was long. So what was one of the biggest lessons that you learned? And he told me that there's levels to every stage. I've been through all of them. I've been a gray shirt, red shirt. I've been a backup. I've been a starter. I played 20 games in JUCO. I rode the bench for a year. I've done every role you could possibly imagine as a quarterback in college. And I've learned to believe in myself. I've withstood the time. And now it's my time to show what I could do.
That's a good out pass right there. Receiver picks up about 6 yards on 2nd down. Tyler Hudson.
Yeah, and it's funny. Larisha gives our point. You just kind of get sense the confidence in Domann. Like, there's nothing you're going to throw at me that I haven't seen before.
Cooley. Jawar, check it. Nice. That's a tough, hard run right there by Jawar Jordan.
It is.
Not a big guy, 5'10", 180 pounds.
Yeah, not big, but again, he gets moving downhill, and force equals mass times acceleration, so get some power going there. Good job downfield, but back to Domann and that confidence. After last game, he was asked by a reporter in the press conference and they said, hey, were you nervous going in there? He just goes, there's nothing to be nervous about when you know what you're doing. And that was it. And what that's the answer you want from a guy who's coming in to play quarterback.
Fake to Jordan. Now he's looking to go back that way. Has a receiver open if he can hook up with him. Bobbles inside the 5, and it's incomplete.
Oh, and that was a perfectly thrown
Marshon Ford, too. One of the players with the better set of hands on this team couldn't bring it in.
Well, I thought it was a perfectly thrown ball, but looks like Coach didn't. Yeah, it did bobble it. Right out towards the outside.
I think if he leads him into the end zone, maybe that's what Satterfield was asking for, as opposed to out to the sideline. Either way, it's incomplete. 10th play of this drive, though, and it's chewed off a little bit of clock, keeping the ball away from Brennan Armstrong in this offense, and giving your defense a rest, who's been on the field for much of this first half.
And I got to say, they're not getting the line of scrimmage. Not a lot of time on the play clock. They're rushing to get up there.
Domann checks off. On a screen, that could be 6. Good move inside the 10, bang down at the 7. Hudson with a nice move, and he got rocked, but not before picking up 17 yards.
Well, I mean, that was a good play. I guess you got that dialed up. It was a good one. Doesn't matter how long it takes, but you haven't seen a lot of these tunnel screens. You see the offensive lineman releasing out early since the ball was caught at the line of scrimmage. That's legal.
Domann. Might have had a little miscommunication there, but keeps it himself. Nothing to do with 2nd and goal.
Yeah, it's something surprising, too, about Louisville this year. they're next to last in the ACC in terms of scoring touchdowns in the red zone. The red zone scoring is pretty good because they have made the field goals, but they haven't been able to get the ball into the end zone at a very high rate.
George Jordan back in the eye. Ford drops it. I'm not sure how far he would have gotten anyways. It'll bring up 3rd and goal.
Man, another drop. This one's easy.
Cypress was all over. He might have dropped him right there in his shoes. Either way, Mark's 3rd and goal.
Yeah, 3rd and goal, and you know, a field goal, yeah, it gets you on the board, but down 10, a backup quarterback, get this ball into the end zone.
Domann to throw. Flushed out of the pocket. Looking into the end zone, throws into the back, has a receiver there and just couldn't bring it in. That was Ford again, who tried to climb the ladder with one arm. Just too tough of a catch. Notice Sanker in the back of the end zone, making sure he didn't get a very good opportunity to bring it in.
Yeah, good coverage by Virginia and a smart throw by Domann towards the end of that play. Originally, I saw Huggins Bruce had a glimpse of openness right over the middle, but he was coming back over the ball. Domann did a good job of putting it where either his receiver could catch it or it would be incomplete, setting up a field goal.
James Turner to kick. Gets it inside that upright. Cardinals, without question, their longest offensive possession and drive of the day. Scott Satterfield pleased that they were at least able to put 3 on the board, staying in this game in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, and they were able to move the football, had some good runs by Gerard Jordan in timely areas, set up 3rd and manageables at times. Although, again, a couple drops kept them out of the end zone. And you get a quarterback, you just want to help him out a little bit more on the receiving end.
13 plays, 61 yards, and 4.5 minutes off the clock.
You saw there a shot of Domann talking to Deion Branch, longtime wide receiver in the NFL, fantastic player who's now their director of player development. And you know, all that tells me right there is, okay, that's like not a football check-in. That's a check. Hey, how you doing? Like, keep it up. Keep that confidence going. Good job scoring.
Brock Travelstead boots this one out of the back of the end zone. Meek Starling lets it go fly over his head. So this offense, led by Brennan Armstrong, has had a few minutes to rest up. Back out on the field. Armstrong's numbers, 8 of 11, 135 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. Check that 1 touchdown.
And let's see how they come back, right? That was the longest they've spent off the field so far this game, that long drive. So can they get back on the field and get clicking again offensively?
Keaton in motion, looking to get it into his hands. He drops it. Pass was a little bit behind him, but certainly nothing that 99 couldn't handle.
Yeah, those are hard. You know, they're hard catches to make, but you got to make those. And you mentioned Keaton Thompson. You know, I believe he's one of the best players on this team. You got to make those catches.
Xavier Brown flanking Armstrong. Armstrong will throw again. Now pressure up the middle. He'll look to run and gets tripped up before he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Desmond Tell in his nose tackle position, getting in there and getting a hand on a shoelace for Armstrong. Armstrong would have had room to run if he'd have gotten through this tackle.
Yeah, look at all the guys coming. You got 23 coming, 7 coming. You get that little shoestring tackle by 99, but you know, that's when Virginia gets in those sets, those 3-by-1s. A lot of those routes are downfield, elongated routes, and that's when Louisville's going to dial up some pressure.
Now let's see what they do here on 3rd and 12.
It looks like they're going to pressure again towards the top of the screen.
They'll bring 5. Armstrong has time. Thompson drops it again. That would have been a first down. Back-to-back 3-and-outs for Virginia. And Mark, their offense was humming early in this game, and they've stalled.
Drop passes. I mean, if you want to summarize the season so far, it's dropped passes. Highest percent of drop passes in the ACC. 17 total drops coming into today. You know, it's frustrating, and you hear it from the crowd. I mean, the crowd is just being like, catch the football, and good shot of Armstrong too. Like, man, they'll catch it eventually.
And Tony Elliott meeting Brennan Armstrong when he came off to the side to pat him on the helmet to say, just keep doing what you're doing. He's got to turn at some point in time. Braden Smith trying to get to the edge and can't do it. Knocked out of bounds. Picked up a handful on the return. Cardinals back on offense. Can they edge ever so closer? Two editions of the Huddle tonight. First 6:30 Eastern. Then again after Florida State, North Carolina. So what they've got are highlights and analysis of all the games today in the ACC, and then a recap after what promises to be a pretty good matchup tonight. NC State and Florida State from Raleigh. You mentioned Brennan Armstrong, a little frustrated. Got the tap on the top of the helmet from Coach Elliott when he walked off the field the last time around. First quarter, seamless offensively for Virginia. Second quarter, not so much. They've given the Cardinals a chance. Domann wants to go up top. Overshoots his intended receiver, Tyler Hudson. Nice coverage by Anthony Johnson. AJ's having himself a heck of a game in coverage today. Already has a pick.
Yeah, and he's, I mean, you're right. And I think you start noticing where 3 is, and you maybe just don't go there as much. He's going to be a size mismatch on anyone he's covering. And, you know, it seems like a lot of these deep balls, they've been trying to go 2-3 side.
Jawar, you are right, Mark. He just lowers his shoulder pads and goes right into the thick of that defense. Suagunlie is there. Good to see him back. He was shaken up a little bit earlier in the game, number 19.
And kind of going back to, you know, AJ Johnson's role, he's playing that boundary corner, and they put him there on purpose because throwing to the boundary is an easier throw for a quarterback. So that might be one of the reasons they're taking some of those shots usually into the boundary.
And there you saw him right there, head up with Tyler Hudson, #1 receiver for this Louisville team.
And look where the safeties are for Virginia. They're within 7 yards of the line of scrimmage, daring him to throw deep.
Domann has a lot of room here if he can get to the yard marker, and he cannot. Josh Ahern stops him about 2 yards shy. Are you going for this, Mark? 4th and 2?
Yeah, I'm going for it, especially from this point of the field. You know Satterfield wants to get this drive continued. Being down 7, I like this call.
Jordan in the backfield. Domann will keep it, and he's got a lot of room. 30, 20, he'll score.
Wow, what a call. Oh my goodness. And the amount of penetration that Virginia got into the backfield had everyone fooled.
Everyone. He had so much green grass in front of him. 44 yards for Brock Domann.
What a call by Lance Taylor. Having the zone read and enough confidence in your young quarterback to have that pull and take it to the end zone.
Turner ties things up here at Scott Stadium.
And let's watch this again. I mean, watch the complete sellout in the middle. If that ball was handed off, it was destroyed. But great job of reading it by Domann, and there's just nobody left. Man, that's got to feel good for that quarterback.
Domann can run now. Certainly hasn't missed very many trips to the arm bar. Biceps, triceps, little tricep push down.
Yep, oh yeah. That's where you live too.
No question.
Yep.
5 days a week. So Coach Satterfield, you've seen the frustration at times today.
Yep.
First time starting quarterback, but yet here we are midway through the second quarter, tied at 10 apiece.
Sometimes he doesn't look like he knows what to do with his hands, right? Like, go back to Ricky Bobby Talladega Nights. Like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, doesn't have the play card in his hands anymore calling these plays, but he's got to be impressed with those last 2 drives by his offense.
Speaking of last 2 drives, Brennan Armstrong 1 for 4 for 7 yards and 2 drops in Virginia's last 2 offensive drives. Before that, he was 7 of 8, 128 yards in that touchdown.
Yeah.
They were humming. I mean, this was looking like it might be a blowout in the first quarter, and now we're all knotted up.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the drops. Brennan Armstrong, I mean, he should still have 2 incomplete passes because he's delivered the football right where it should be.
Quick throw out to Wicks. Complete for about 6. And now Armstrong wants to move quickly. Wicks near side. Lavelle Davis at the top of your screen. Keep it on the ground. Big hit as Paris Jones was getting to the next level and met by MJ Griffin. Dorian Jones in on the tackle.
MJ Griffin, he's getting the start because Kendrick Duncan is out today. Transfer in from Temple.
Now Armstrong tried to keep it as they were going quickly on 3rd down. Mark, he didn't get the first down, but based on how they're marking it, Mason Reiger was on his toes. Didn't let the pace fool him. And now it's 4th down.
I mean, yeah, you go fast like that, you think you got something. Good job by Louisville's defense of getting lined up and getting penetration.
Ruling on the field was the ball carrier was stopped short of the line to gain. Previous play is under further review.
Let's take a look at it as Armstrong was stopped. Tried to fool the defense. We'll take a look during the break. Tell you what we find on the other side.
All right, right after that 2nd down stop, Virginia to the line right away on 3rd and 1. Louisville's not even set yet, but a phenomenal job by 93 Jared Dawson just penetrating through that hole. And then Mason Reiger stops him short. After review, it was confirmed that the runner had not passed far enough to get the first down, so forces 4th down punt.
Another 3 and out. Sparks in the kick. Smith with the fair catch at his 29. This has been a tale of 2 quarters here today in Charlottesville. Virginia came out, scored a field goal on their first possession, scored again, and it looked like it was going to be all Wahoos. And then Louisville went on a long drive. It took the steam out of that momentum a little bit, Mark, that Virginia had, and it's been all cards since.
Yeah, and been a big play, that big run by Domann, and on 4th down, gutsy play call, and capitalized on it. And you know, when you're in this position with a backup quarterback, again, nothing taken away from Brock, but sometimes you have to make those gutsy play calls on 4th down, and it paid off.
Domann will throw. Has all kinds of time over the middle. That's Ford.
Nice ball.
Last 2 drives before this one, Mark. 17 plays combined for Louisville, 113 yards and a couple of scores. That's 19 yards on this connection.
Yeah, and watch Domann. There's absolutely no pressure from Virginia, and able to deliver a perfect ball over the middle to his wide receiver who came down and caught it. And Virginia either needs to get more pressure on the quarterback or needs to play tighter coverage in those zones because the middle of the field is open.
Give to Cooley.
Oh.
Spins his way inside. Picks up 7 yards. Cardinals once again in Virginia territory. This was
just a crazy stat that I saw as I was looking up this game, and under Scott Satterfield the last 3 years, Louisville has never come back and won a game where they've been down by more than 7. And that, it was like astonishing to me.
Hard to believe, because they have such an explosive offense.
They do, and being down 10 early in this game, now they've tied it up, and they're using the momentum and getting the run game going.
Tough yards, 5 more there. Paul Akiri on the stop, but not before Cooley is able to move the sticks.
And you see that there. It'd be interesting. Could there be a stat breaker in this game with Brock Domann at the helm?
Fake to Cooley, Domann to throw. That one too much and picked off. Maybe a little greedy. Clary back to midfield. A.J. Johnson again defending on the pass, tipped it up in the air, and his teammate Antonio Clary was there to pick it and bring it back to midfield.
Clary's the one who's celebrating, but you got to stop throwing the ball where number 3 is. I mean, his coverage is just so good, so tight, and it's just good. It's really good, and you got a guy in A.J. Johnson who transferred out of Louisville to come play at Virginia because he wasn't getting the looks he wants to do. He's jacked up for this game. He's performing, and man, he's got the ball back to his offense that desperately needed that spark, now taking over at midfield.
First career pick for Clary. Now Armstrong to Brown. Stopped, no gain. Yaya Diaby's been quiet. He's been quiet the last game and a half, making the tackle for Louisville.
Yeah, Diaby, a phenomenal player. Him and Yasir Abdullah, 2 guys who can really make an impact for this Louisville defense in the opposition's backfield. And you mentioned the last game versus Boston College that neither of them were very effective. Good to see him get that play there.
Diaby top 20 in the country in both sacks and tackles for loss coming in. Second down and 10. Armstrong to throw. Pressure coming from Louisville. Gets rid of it. Mish. Picks up about 6. Monty Montgomery out there on the stop. Third down. Wahoo's 2 for 6 on third down this afternoon. Louisville shows they want to bring a little bit of pressure.
Got a lot of cushion at the bottom of your screen with Dontavian Wicks, but not a lot of confidence in him catching the football either.
Armstrong to throw. Over the middle. Intercepted! Brownlee picks it off.
Great job at the top of that route by Jarvis Brownlee. Transferred in from Florida State, and he's covering Lavelle Davis, who has a size advantage on everybody he's going to go against, but just not able to get out of the break. You see this ball is delivered towards the inside, and Lavelle Davis unable to get off of the defender. Man, what a response.
Both teams with 2 turnovers. See Billy Kemp, who's injured in this game, trying to console Armstrong on the bench, keep his spirits up. Louisville continuing with that run game. Travion Cooley on the carry. Nick Jackson with another tackle. It's always interesting to watch Armstrong this year coming to the bench and the conversations he's having with his receivers.
And there he is, right? Have that conversation with Lavelle Davis. You don't come over and talk to the other receivers about it. Let's be direct to the guy, and he's saying, okay, if you get contacted, don't fall off. Work harder and come back to the football.
Almost a beautiful catch by Braden Smith. Just couldn't quite bring it in. Look at Smith, just fingertips.
Ooh, that's He was up there. He was flying.
Not a bad pass either from Domann. His confidence is growing as well.
Yeah, and some quarterbacks, you get that big long run, score a touchdown, find yourself in the end zone. You've come back from down 10, and now he's delivering some good balls in the air.
3rd down and 7. Domann has time. Over the middle, has a receiver. Hooks up with Hudson, and they'll move the sticks.
Yeah, and that's on James Jackson, the linebacker, number 7. Watch him. He's dropping out. Okay, you turn that way. Now let's melt to the left with the quarterback's vision. And as a man-to-man defender in that situation, you know you have a middle hole player there. That guy's supposed to affect those in-breaking routes. But James Jackson, the young linebacker, unable to get back into that spot in the middle of the field.
Time of possession now, even in this game. Cooley spins out of the initial tackle, is able to pick up a couple before Chico Bennett brings him down. Inside of 2 minutes left to play in this first half. First quarter owned by Virginia. Second quarter owned by Louisville. We're tied. Domann. Now the pressure comes, gets out of it. Flags all over the place. He just throws it away. And takes a hit. No flag on that one.
Yep.
As James Jackson came in to make the stop after Domann got rid of the ball. Holding the initial call. Chico Bennett put the pressure on Domann, forced him out of the pocket.
Holding, number 7, offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
That may be off a little bit.
Correction, number 70, 7-0.
There we go, Trevor Reed, the guilty party.
Good job by Chico Bennett. He got chipped by the running back, trying to help a little bit. He just continued to find that lane to the quarterback. First real pass rush UVA has gotten all day.
So 2nd and 17, Domann. Finds a receiver underneath, that's Maurice Turner, his tailback. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage. James Jackson again in pursuit. Good look at James Jackson. Local kid, sorta, he's from Roanoke, right down the road.
And he's a guy, he's got a lot of talent, but talked about him in that one zone drop where he wasn't in the right spot, but he's got a lot of talent. He's a long player. And it was a good job on that coverage. Lance Taylor talked about getting his running backs matched up on these linebackers in pass coverage because he thought there's an advantage on Louisville's side. Good job by Jackson on that. Now it's 3rd down and 10. Let's see if Virginia does bring pressure in this situation.
They bring just 4. Over the middle, complete for the 1st down.
And again, it's James Jackson. One bad play, one good play. That was another play where you got to just have an awareness of where you are in that zone.
Tyler Hudson is definitely Domann's favorite target. Now Turner in the backfield. Play action, all kinds of time. Ford inside the 10, down to the 4, 1st and goal Cardinals.
Yeah, and James Jackson again. Again, you don't want to pile up on a guy, but right now they're finding out where he is, and they're delivering the football in that location. That time you have an experienced Marshon Ford who's being used more as a wide receiver in this game than a tight end, and that's a mismatch that was exposed.
2 timeouts on the board for Louisville, so all kinds of time here at 1st and goal. Give to Turner. Pounds his way inside to about the 2. And now we'll get one of those 2 timeouts called by Scott Satterfield. All right, coming up, stay tuned for the Auto Owners Insurance Halftime Report. First half analysis. Showdown in the Coastal Division coming up, and Pitt looks to bounce back after that brutal loss at home to Georgia Tech and interim head coach Brent Key. Georgia Tech and Duke at home today. Key's 2nd game as the interim head coach there. Tony Elliott in his 1st season here in Virginia, establishing culture. I mean, Bronco Mendenhall did a great job with this Cavalier program, establishing a culture of winning, doing it right on the field, off the field, all that stuff, Mark. But when you come in from Clemson and Dabo and 11 years there, You know, you've got your own set of what you think the culture should be, right? Even if you're coming into a place that's been positive for the last few years.
Yeah, Chris, to your point, it's the same end goal, right? It's the same create winning culture. Create a culture that prioritizes academics, that prioritizes doing things the right way. They're just different ways of getting there. And I think that it's much more direct this year. It's much more hard style coaching this year. And players are responding. It's just taking them longer to get there.
2nd and goal. Fake to Cooley. Domann wants to throw. He just throws it out of the back of the end zone. No one was open.
Smart play.
What do you make of the call, though, Mark?
Yeah, interesting call, rolling it into the sideline.
You've had some success running the football, though. I know it's a lot tougher down here.
Yeah, but again, you get the ball out, you get another chance on 3rd down from the 2-yard line, and now is a time where you can still run the football because, again, 2 yards.
12 personnel, the option. Nothing doing. Ben Smiley in on the stop. Long was there as well. And it looks like Scott Satterfield is more than content to let the clock run down to 2 seconds.
That's
Send
their
James
3rd
Turner out.
and final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
And you see, you're going to run the speed option to the short side of the field. And the idea is you want to get either the pitch out fast enough where number 33, Ahern, can't get outside, but it was just really slow developing. And good job, credit to Virginia's defense of understanding their responsibilities and getting there. But Chris, to your point, the direct run, right? Like Jawar Jordan, he's been getting a yard, 2 yards directly up the middle. Why not run the ball at least one of those times directly?
111 yards rushing in the first half for Louisville. Granted, 44 of those were on the big long run by Domann for the score. Turner in to give the Cardinals the lead at the break from 19 yards. Snap is good, hold is good. Turner splits the uprights. Wrapping up a 10-play, 63-yard drive that took the final 3 minutes and 4 seconds off the clock in the first half. And the Cardinals were down 10-0 in this game.
Drives, and then it was turnovers, right? Turnovers by Louisville gave UVA opportunities. Turnovers by UVA gave Louisville opportunities, and then it was a big play run by Brock Domann, got him in rhythm, and he was able to find his targets down the field. And so we'll see what the 3rd quarter brings, but maybe, hopefully, for the viewers, we get a little bit of both, a little bit of good football from both teams here.
Tamique Starling with an opportunity. Speedster gets tripped up, though, and stopped at the 13-yard line. Virginia will start deep in their own territory. Our Subway refresh of that first half. You see Louisville was able to get the running game going. Virginia non-existent. And then time of possession, which really was all Virginia in the first quarter, ended up in Louisville's favor because they were able to keep the ball away from Brennan Armstrong in that offense that started this game so strongly.
Yeah, those rushing yards, keep an eye on those because 14 rushing yards in the first half for Virginia is not good enough.
Armstrong to throw to open the second half. Davis on the receiving end, give him about 5. Larisha Harris is down on the field. Larisha, what do you got?
I talked to head coach Tony Elliott, and he told me we've been struggling to handle success. The message to his players during halftime was, you got to believe in yourself. What are you afraid of? Why are you afraid to win? And so he said that's what he told them as it pertains to the self-inflicted wounds, those turnovers. He said as far as the defense, the offense needs to play complementary football to be able to get the defense to continue them.
All right, thanks, Larisha. Armstrong being chased, running for his life, gets pushed out of bounds at the 15. Monty Montgomery giving him chase.
A good initial pressure, and then Monty finishes it off, and man, they're happy to have Monty Montgomery back at that linebacker position. Missed all of last year with an ACL, and last week, I mean, he looked like Monty Montgomery that we know. I mean, he had 7 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 TFLs, an interception, and 2 forced fumbles. I mean, you can't get a much better stat line than that.
And Brian Brown said, no, it's time. The injury is healed, Monty. It's time for you to start playing with reckless abandon, and now he is, and now he puts pressure on Armstrong, and they get him. Ashton Gelati was the one who got in, forcing what is most likely another 3 and out to start the second half.
And you see Ashton Gelati working in the middle of that line of scrimmage. I mean, he just turns around Ty Furnish, the center, and I mean, great job getting to the quarterback. And it's just another stifled drive by Virginia offensively.
Flags fly.
False start. Offense. All 11 weren't set for 1 second prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Mistakes continue to mount. Mark, first quarter for Virginia, the offense, 149 yards on 22 plays, 7 first downs. They were up 10-0. Second quarter, 13 yards on 9 plays, 0 first downs.
Wow.
And they're continuing that into the third quarter.
And another
marker.
They're going to, Louisville might think about going to block this now.
Prior to the snap infraction. Offense, half the distance to the goal, still 4th down.
And so now the punter's heels are on the end line, and we'll see if Louisville heats it up and tries to go block this.
So Daniel Sparks now, look where Sparks' heels are, right at the end line. He doesn't have the full distance, to your point, Mark. He's going to have to just get this one out in a hurry. He does. Braden Smith, and he gets a good one off, too. Braden Smith all the way back to his 41, but he'll have room to return it. Can't get anywhere. Good special teams play after a couple of really silly mistakes by Virginia to make up for it.
Fantastic.
Aiden Livingston, who was probably guilty of that snap infraction,
right.
Long snapper on the last play, Mark, coming down and making the stop with Kendall Cross.
Look at the point for Virginia. You don't have to get a penalty and then go make a tackle, right? That's twice. The punt team. Maybe they've been inspired, but
that's true.
Yeah, here you go. You see, what Brock's days looked like, and part of that 6-rush, 59-yard was that long 40-plus yard touchdown run. And the 2 interceptions have both come when trying to throw the ball towards Anthony Johnson, number 3.
He'll keep it. Wanted to throw it. Instead, picks up about 5 yards on first down. James Jackson on the stop. Good smart yardage on first down.
Yeah. Pick up a gain of 5 on first down with pulling the ball down and running. And now you really have the whole playbook available on second.
Jordan picks up 2. It'll bring up third down and a long 3.
And you see the pace differential on third down. Virginia, every time it's been 3rd and short, it's like, let's get to the line of scrimmage right now and run a play to try to catch Louisville off guard. And Louisville's more like, let's get the right play in so we can execute on third down.
Virginia brings just 4, so time for Domann. Hits his receiver. Spins out of a tackle down to the 40-yard line. Tyler Hudson.
And that time they put Tyler Hudson in on the slot, so he was not matched up against Anthony Johnson. And just a good delivery, a well-thrown ball. And good job breaking a tackle and gaining extra yardage by Tyler Hudson.
Virginia substituting some fresh D linemen in the game. Jackson wants to come off the edge, and he does, but it's picked up. Hudson again. Give him about 8.
It's plays like that, too, that, for a defense, you're like, man, they just gained 8 yards on first down with a quick little hitch route. I mean, it's tough to come back from something like that when they're continuously beating you.
And now the hitch here. He's got a receiver wide open inside the 5, and Marshon Ford will score.
And what a complimentary play off that. They put everybody into the boundary. Again, they look like, okay, we're going to run a little bubble or a hitch route, and then it's a hitch and go on the outside by the tight end. And watch on the outside, good job on the fake screen, and the defenders just caught off, and Lex Long, 27 right there, just unable to stay with his cover, and look at that. You got Momo Sanogo hyping up his quarterback.
32 yards, Domann to Ford. And it's Domann's first touchdown pass in Cardinal red. Louisville picking up where they left off in the second quarter. They're up 10. Louisville's first drive of the second half ends in points like their last drive of the first. They continue to put a stranglehold on this game, 20-10 now in the third quarter, and Virginia's first offensive possession was a 3-and-out. Starling. Track star speed, watch out! Oh, that might have been a touchdown-saving tackle right there. I know it was at the 25, but if he gets free, forget about it. Help people affected by Hurricane Ian. Donate at redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross prepare for, respond to, and help those in need. Again, donate at redcross.org/ESPN, as we've seen so many that continue to be affected by the ravages of this hurricane that made landfall in Florida and once again in the Carolinas. Xavier Brown in the eye, fake to him. Armstrong will throw. As a receiver, Sanogo on the coverage on Keaton, picks up 5 yards.
Take a good look at those numbers there.
Crazy. But they pick up almost 6 on first down. Armstrong again to Keaton. This is what he does after the catch. First down.
In those last 2 plays, there was some extra concentration by Keaton Thompson on securing the football. 2 drops in that second quarter. Good job of securing the football, and once you secure it, that's when you can make guys miss.
Cardinals bring 5, the fake to Brown. Davis down to the 41, another first down.
Louisville overloaded that right side in an unbalanced formation, and a good little hesitation. And again, another good job of pulling the football in by Lavelle Davis.
2 first downs on this drive. First downs by this Virginia offense since the first quarter. Armstrong to throw. Now he's got time, flush, pressed in the middle. Just couldn't quite get it to Thompson, and he was open too. He might have been able to find the end zone had he been able to bring it down, but he can't, just a little too high.
A little too high. Good job stepping up in the pocket. And, yeah, that should be caught. And now a whole bunch of new wide receivers in the game for Virginia.
And they've got Paris Jones, the tailback, in the slot here near side.
Gotta be alert for QB draw when you have this many backup wide receivers in.
Now Jones in motion, he'll run it. Oh, and a good tackle, and that saved a big play. MJ Griffin made another shoestring tackle. We've seen a couple of those by this Card defense, and Armstrong might still be running if he doesn't.
Yeah, and good job by Griffin understanding, right? Okay, where are the top receivers? They're all on the bench. So you have 3 backups and a tight end and a running back out there. Those are not your top pass catchers. Be alert for the quarterback run, and good job of completing that tackle.
3rd and 10. Armstrong gets it out to Jones. Made the first man miss, crashes into the second and third, and falls forward for a good gain, but still shy of the first down.
And that's why you run to the football, right? At first it was Monty Montgomery out there. He was in coverage, but he missed the tackle. Then you get another guy trying to make a tackle, and then finally the 3rd guy brings him down, setting up 4th and 5.
And they're going for it. Virginia keeping their offense on the field.
And again, not their top pass catchers, or supposed to be their top pass catchers on the field.
Armstrong will look to the sideline.
Sean Wilson, the top, true freshman, 6'4", 220.
Armstrong to throw. As Wicks makes the catch, first down.
Great catch by Wicks. Well thrown ball. Good job of getting his feet down. Good job on the route. And Virginia needs Dontavian Wicks to play well to be successful on offense.
Armstrong to throw on first down. Going to the end zone. Trying to find Davis. Falls, flags fly everywhere. Josh Minkins in coverage. That'll be a PI against Louisville.
Pass interference. Defense, number 5. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Well, Scott Satterfield this week, he's been spending more time on the defensive side of the ball. And one of the things he noted from last week's game against Boston College was that Minkins, the safety, was too many times left match up one-on-one with Zay Flowers, a top wide receiver. And that time again, you get Minkins matched up one-on-one with Lavelle Davis. And that's an advantage for Virginia.
First trip into the red zone on the day for Virginia. Fake to Jones. Pressure on the outside. Armstrong will keep it towards the goal line. Scores!
Well, there you go. You get a couple nice catches from your receivers that you need to play well. Dontavian Wicks with the big one on the sideline. And then the mismatch to Lavelle Davis drew the penalty. And you see what, look, Coach Elliott with Armstrong just say, stick with the process. A good job on the ground finding that end zone. Man, good drive.
Bettridge nails the PAT. And after spending a quarter and then some, not being able to move the ball at all, the Wahoos go 8 plays, 73 yards in 3.5 minutes. Armstrong punctuating it, taking it in by himself. We got us a game in the second half.
QB run. Watch the offensive line. This is all pass blocking here, but a little bit too far drifting in coverage by some guys, and then you see the effort at the very end, not knowing, okay, is the quarterback going to slide or should I hit him hard? Josh Minkins, the safety number 5, had a chance to stop him short, but a good job of adjusting by Brennan Armstrong and pulling the ball down and using his legs.
Jawar Jordan lets it fly over his head. Louisville with the ball back. Our marathon drive recap is the last time that Brock Domann and Louisville had the ball.
Yeah, and it was through the air. Brock Domann has completed 7 of his last 8 passes. This one on that last drive. But a great job on the comeback route, and then finds his tight end, Marshon Ford, on a little fake screen and perfectly delivered the football. And, talk about confidence level. Brock Domann, ever since he had that long touchdown run, he has been playing at a high level.
Started the day 1 for 6 passing. And much better since then, and they've been able to run the ball too, but not on this play. Nick Jackson on the stop. There's Brock's numbers on the day. Had that long 44-yard touchdown run in the first half to spark this Louisville team. Really the first offensive spark they had, and they've been solid ever since.
Yeah, and those 2 interceptions, one was the first kind of deep shot you tried in the game. A.J. Johnson intercepted that one, and then another one on a slant route. A.J. Johnson got a hand in there and deflected it.
Domann, little misdirection. Has his receiver, that's Huggins Bruce. Dragged out of bounds by Fentrell Cypress, but it gives Louisville an opportunity here in 3rd and short.
You got to get a lot of credit to Lance Taylor, the offensive coordinator. We mentioned it's his first time calling plays, but he has set up plays really nicely. You know, you saw that last naked bootleg, completed that pass. The touchdown pass was set up by the hook and the little comeback route earlier in that drive. And on 3rd down and like 3.5, let's see what he calls here.
Pressure coming. It's picked up, though. Domann's going to go deep. Receiver out there, incomplete. Again, A.J. Johnson defending beautifully on the play for Virginia.
A.J. Johnson, he's been good. He really has this game. Good job of staying with the guy. Never gets the head back, but he's working against Jalen Carter, 6'2", 208-pound wide receiver. A little bit underthrown by Domann, but great job this entire game by A.J. Johnson.
Cards forced to punt. Ethan Davies waits for it at his 20. No fair catch, and he got hit immediately. Nice job defensively by the Cardinals. We're remembering Tom Zimmerkorski today, ACC official who suffered a fatal heart attack after officiating last week at the Clemson-NC State game. Let's keep Tom Zimmerkorski's family in our thoughts and prayers. Davies took a helmet into the sternum, and Marvin Dallas, the party in question. Take a look at this, Mark.
Yeah, and you see there's definitely he ducks his head. I mean, that's a vulnerable position for a tackler. And we saw a similar type play earlier on the quarterback, but it wasn't considered forcible.
After further review, personal foul, targeting, number 14 on the kicking team. The 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, number 14 is disqualified for the remainder of the game.
So we saw a similar looking play to that in the first half. No targeting.
Yep.
On this particular call, targeting, it was reviewed, and targeting is the case, and Marvin Dallas has been ejected from the game.
Yeah, and again, Deion Branch there, making sure his head stays right, but I think that's a good call. That's, you know, you don't want guys tackling like that.
It used to be a day and time when that was called spearing.
Correct.
Leading with your helmet to make a tackle. No longer the case. First down for Armstrong. Pressure on the edge. It's picked up. Armstrong trying to loft it up to Wicks. No chance, and it's intercepted. Overthrew Wicks, who was hand fighting with the defender down the field. The official calls it a good catch, and M.J. Griffin continues his strong play today, filling in for Kendrick Duncan, who's out with injury.
I mean, what a play by M.J. Griffin, getting all the way over to the opposite sideline and making that diving catch. And you see Wicks kind of throwing his hands up. Does look like there's a foot down, and does look like he secures the catch.
Wicks and Brownlee were just wrestling all the way down the sideline, Mark. Definitely looks like he got a foot in. No ball movement when he hits the ground. And we're playing. Cooley outside, 15 yards.
Good run. You get a big play on defense, a turnover, then you come right back out and you hit the ground hard. Great run by Cooley. And Louisville, on the other hand, they don't have all their backs either. We mentioned that a few times, but the guys who are in right now, they are playing well and producing.
Mixing Jordan, Cooley, and Turner. Cooley in there now. Domann fakes the handoff to him, lowers his shoulder. Domann's a big dude now.
Yeah.
A.J. Johnson on the tackle. A few words for the Cardinals.
We talked to the coach, Lance Taylor said, you better watch out. 19, he's not a guy who's going to try to make you miss like number 3 would have. He'll run you over.
2nd and 6. Play fake. Domann to throw. Has a receiver.
Wow.
Got him, Hudson, inside the 25, down to the 20. Jonas Sanker on coverage, but Domann had all kinds of time, 23 yards downfield.
he had good time, but right at the end, he did take a shot. And so watch him throw this football right in the face of pressure and delivered a strike. 13, 14 yards downfield. You see the pressure from Cam Butler late, and a really good delivery of the football for that first down.
I think a good clean hit by Cam Butler too.
Correct.
You know, you backed off a bit.
Yep.
Hand off to Cooley, trying to bounce it outside, gets good yardage. Cavaliers in pursuit, but Cooley was able to pick up 8. We've lost our graphic book temporarily. I'll do my best to keep you up to date on yards, down and distance, score of the game.
I love how that little thing on the bottom of the screen is called a bug.
Yeah,
right?
A little bug. Someone squashed that bug. Bring it back. 2nd down and 2. Clock winding just inside 3.5 in this 3rd quarter. Now we got it back. Okay. After the interception, Cardinals on the move. Cooley just trying to dance his way to a 1st down. Looks like he'll get it. It'll be 1st and goal for Louisville.
And good push by the offensive line of Louisville, because it looked like he didn't get many yards, but that was a 2-yard gain before he even got touched. So they reestablished that line of scrimmage really well.
Louisville, as you mentioned earlier, hasn't been great in the red zone in terms of scoring touchdowns. A lot of field goals this season, which is a little surprise with Malik, because he can make things happen when the play breaks down. But today, same thing. This is their 3rd trip into the red zone, and they only have 2 field goals in their first 2. Jordan. Flag down as he falls down at the 7. Another one comes. This is going to be holding, I think, against Louisville. And this is going to hurt their red zone chances on this drive.
Holding, number 70, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
Reed frustrated with himself on the edge, left tackle.
Yeah, and you see Reed on James Jackson, and you get that little turnaround and drove him all the way to the ground. I mean, you got to let go at some point. And you mentioned, Chris, it's really hard to score touchdowns when you got to get it in the end zone from the 20. I mean, you just are way behind the sticks, and no matter who your quarterback is, that's hard. It's hard to overcome penalties like that.
Play clock inside of 5.
Ooh, and they got too many guys in the field.
Yeah, they got to call a timeout here. Got it.
Timeout, Louisville. That's their first charge timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Saw Scott Satterfield and offensive coordinator Lance Taylor discussing that one. Hey, we're just getting started here. Full day of college football on the ACC now. We're coming up at 3:30. Got Virginia Tech and Pitt. Then our primetime game tonight. 8 o'clock from Raleigh. NC State, Florida State. Both games, of course, on the ACC network and streaming live on the ESPN app. ACC right now, we mentioned earlier when talking about that NC State-Florida State game how Seminoles are rejuvenated. I don't think rejuvenized is a word. If it was, the Seminoles would be rejuvenized.
Yeah, I do like that word, though. And you talk about NC State, too, that you need to bounce back from that loss to Clemson. And they still got a lot in front of them. I mean, this is right now, Clemson faces Boston College, who had a big week last week versus Louisville, but can Clemson continue that dominance, and can DJ continue to play at a high level? And you look at the top of that screen, North Carolina versus Miami. It's like, where are you going to see offense from Miami, and are you going to see defense from UNC? I don't know. We haven't in the last couple weeks.
Last time Miami took the field, they lost to Middle Tennessee State, and they've had 2 weeks to stew over that. Huggins Bruce can't quite get to the outside, but he's dragging a tackler down to the 10. So Jonas Sanker had a handful of jersey, and it looks like he may be banged up on the play.
Holding that ankle.
Yeah, holding that right ankle after Amari Huggins Bruce was dragging him for about 6 or 7 yards. Virginia staff taking a look at Sanker. Plays that spur position. You see so often in defenses in college football nowadays, that hybrid safety linebacker can play up at the line of scrimmage, can cover.
He's been a big part of this team. 11 tackles last week, career high versus Duke. See at the end, see he's got that, and right there kind of caught underneath himself, that ankle, if that's what it ends up being, rolled a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right. Right as it just caught this beautiful turf here at Scott Stadium. It's amazing. It's real grass. And Jonas Sanker comes up. He's able to run off under his own power. So that's great news. As he hobbles off, and the injuries continue to mount for that man, Tony Elliott. Gives AJ a low 5. AJ deserves a lot of those after his play today. So Darius Bratton now coming in to take Jonas Sanker's spot at that spur position. 2nd down and goal. Pickup of about 9 yards on that quick push pass to Amari Huggins-Bruce. Louisville in this position because of a holding call on 1st down, but they got some of it back.
Substitution, offense, more than 11 players breaking the huddle and in the formation. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Another big mistake in the red zone.
And that's interesting coming out of that stoppage of play. Were they saying that they were huddled on the sideline and they broke it and there was 11 guys or 12 guys and one ran off? I mean, just another penalty hurt them.
Ford now in that H-back spot at the top of your screen. Cooley stays in for protection to the end zone. One-handed catch almost made, and now a flag comes in. Hudson's a heck of a receiver, and he almost brought that in with one hand. He had to because the other hand was being held by the defender.
And I think that effort of extending his arm to try to make that catch is what signaled to the officials to throw the flag.
Pass interference. Defense, number 3, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
That one's going to go against AJ. Got to put the ball by rule on the 2-yard line.
It's tough to tell from those angles. Looked like a pretty good defensive play.
Cooley at the goal line, still powering his way. Stopped short. Antonio Clary leading the way for Virginia. 2nd down and goal. Fast moving 3rd quarter here, Mark. Clock winding down to a minute.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, you remember last time they were down in this position, we saw them do some more stuff on the outside, try to do the option. And if you think back a week, Louisville against Boston College continuously stuffed them on those direct runs up the middle. Let's see if they go back to it.
Cooley, this time he walks in. Cardinals finally cash in the red zone, and they increase their advantage.
Just a direct run right up the middle. Cooley going downhill, and it was another good push by the left side of that offensive line, led by the preseason All-American, number 55, Caleb Chandler.
Turner with the PAT, it's good. That lead back to 10 for Louisville. And it all began with the interception. And a great game by MJ Griffin, filling in for Kendrick Duncan, who's hurt.
Yeah, huge game, and gets all the way over there outside the numbers, extends, gets his feet in bounds, and you see the push on that left side, number 55 opening that window, and good job by Cooley getting it in there. And after hurting themselves and backing themselves up with a couple penalties by Louisville, Virginia gets called with the big pass interference, giving him a 1st down.
Mentioned both of these coaches in need of their first ACC win this year, Mark, but they're in different spots.
Yes.
I mean, Tony Elliott, his first year here at Virginia, putting in his offense, his stamp on the program. It's going to take a little while for all that to come together. Scott Satterfield, meanwhile, the 2019 ACC Coach of the Year. Then had, COVID year, was not friendly to the Cardinals. Last year, they go back to a bowl game, 500 team. But this year, struggling a little bit. A lot of that goes back to the offseason, Mark, when you think about, coaches are listening to offers all the time from other programs, but a lot of times it doesn't get out that coach was talking to this team or that program. I mean, I'm sure it happens all the time, but it became public with Scott Satterfield. So I think that with the Louisville fans are kind of saying, Coach, maybe now it's show me time. And they haven't been able to show him a whole lot this year to this point, but they are today.
They are today, and interestingly, without Malik Cunningham. I think part of the questioning is you want the offense to become better each year, right? Improve in certain areas, and although you can say they a little bit better running at times, Malik Cunningham, he's been elite, but on the areas of you want him to improve on the deep ball stuff, just he hasn't continued to improve in those areas. And all that being said, Malik is still one of the best players in college football in terms of dynamic.
He's at home right now. Didn't make the trip because of the concussion-like symptoms in the protocol. Watching his replacement, Brock Domann, with an outstanding game so far. So far on this drive, Keaton with 10 yards. Gets it again. Stays on his feet, pushes off a would-be defender, and picks up a first down. So 2 completions to Keaton Thompson on this drive, moving the sticks a couple of times. That should do it for the third quarter. And it does. Take a look at our game summary. ACC Network Football is presented by Subway. Look at that rushing yards.
Yes.
Still 21 yards rushing for Virginia on the day. Armstrong to throw. Thompson, 40. Still on his feet, still moving. Down to the 36, flag comes in. It'd be a shame if we got a late hold or block in the back against Virginia after that great individual effort by Keaton.
We'll find out what the flag is, but you got to get 99 going if you want to be in these games. An explosive, dynamic player for UVA's offense.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block, number 20, offense, 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, still be first down.
Go against Xavier Brown. Let's check the replay on this. I don't know. Shoulder into him, I guess.
I don't know.
I know it's I guess by rule it would be, but I don't think that's in the spirit of why the rule was put in place to protect the player. It's not getting blown up on a wedge or on a wall developing in a punt return. That's the rules, though. And they back up, so it negates the play by Keaton. Armstrong to throw. Now he wants to go deep. Over the middle, through about 4 or 5 sets of hands before going incomplete. We have 2 players down still. Wicks is one of them, and Riley is the other. So Quincy Riley for Louisville and Dontavian Wicks for Virginia. Those 2 medical staffs are out there looking at those 2 players, and we'll check on their condition when we come back.
For everyone, from players to parents, football offers unlimited growth with even more to learn.
Under his own power, but not looking so good as he was injured on this play, Mark. What happened on this play?
Yeah, well, it just, I don't know what this play call is or if anyone ran the right route, but watch as these receivers end their routes. I mean, they are all in the straight line. I mean, they all are on that right hash, and therefore all the defenders are there too. So, I mean, that just can't be the right play or the right routes.
Thompson picks up 8.
And to go along with drops, you get to that too, where there's absolutely no separation between the 3 guys who are running routes, and Brennan Armstrong's back there like, okay, what am I supposed to do here?
3rd down and 2. Xavier Brown in the backfield with Armstrong. Cards showing some pressure. Brown's going to fall forward short of the 1st down, a full yard short of the 1st down. Nice job by Momo Sanogo getting into the backfield and disrupting Brown's run. 4th down, big 4th down here. Armstrong to throw. Pressure coming. They get him. Mason Reiger was first in. Monty Montgomery helped clean up the mess. And the Cards take over near midfield.
Well, Yasir Abdullah just came off the edge like a rocket. And you see the bottom of your screen, it wins now, as well as Reiger on the top. And on 4th down and 3, once they realize it's passed, it's let's go get the quarterback. And the way that these boxes are set up, the TV booth is directly next to the visiting team's defensive staff. When they saw those Armstrong go down, we could just hear a roar from that coaching staff.
5 sacks on the day, Mark. That gives them 21 on the season. They'll get after you. They've just given up too many big plays in the past. Now Turner looking for room to run and finds a little bit of it. Gets inside the 40. It's about 9 yards for the freshman from Nichols, Georgia. The lead is 10. The clock is ticking, and Louisville's having success running the football. 147 yards to this point. Can they add to it? They can, enough to move the chains.
And by the time the running backs are being hit, they're already 3 yards downfield. I mean, there's no push right now from the defensive line of Virginia. They are getting blown off the football.
Huggins Bruce got a block. Into the open field, inside the 15, inside the 10. Donovan Johnson had to track him down. It's the 2nd time we've seen that play. It's worked both times this afternoon.
It has, and you go vertical, now you go horizontal, and good job blocking on the outside. They get some of the tight ends out there in front, and defenders are stuck on blocks. Not a lot of rip to get off blocks, not a lot of effort that could possibly signal a holding call.
Jawar Jordan also nice block downfield. He's back at tailback. And cadence from Domann. Domann may have drawn Virginia offside.
Offside. Defense number 19. Good contact. Half the distance to the goal. Still 1st down.
Oh, Gary Patterson pointed the wrong way, but it is against Virginia, so they'll move half the distance in. 1st and goal from just outside the 3.
See Satterfield? He found a play card. He found it somewhere on the sideline. He could not hold a play card.
Might not even be his actual play card. Like it might have been left from the team before, and he just picked it up and said, I got to look at something.
Yeah, need to have something in my hands.
Talking about earlier, Lance Taylor, the offensive coordinator in his 1st year, the play caller today for the Cardinals. Right to the goal line, stretches across. The officials are going to rule him down at the 1-yard line. Jawar Jordan tried to stretch the ball across, but was down beforehand. 2nd down and goal. Cards want to move quickly. Jordan over the top. No signal from the official. Touchdown. We do have a marker down, so we'll check that, but initial signal by the linesman on the far side is that Jawar Jordan got in.
Yeah, and I think the linebacker, it might have been James Jackson, tried to get lined up but went in front of the defensive lineman.
Offside. Defense. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
Do have an injured player on the field. That's a Cardinal.
Timeout, injured Louisville player.
Looking to see if we can get a number. As he's being obscured by
looks like
staff
it
and
might be Adonis Boone.
I agree with you. It is Adonis Boone, senior from Daytona Beach, Florida. They're checking that left knee as the staff looks at Adonis. Let's take a look at this touchdown again. That is just a mass of humanity. From down this angle, we may not be able to see much more of it. I mean, he's just right in the middle of that pile. We'll take a quick break. Louisville scoring. Adonis Boone being attended to. The score, obviously every play is reviewed, this score included. Can't say anything from that angle.
No, but you see the pad level, just the pad level of Louisville, and the tight end Isaac Martin, number 41, a good block on the edge. And they're doing a good job of getting low and getting a lot of movement.
Domann holding court with his receivers.
And they've had a pretty stable offensive front with the 5 guys up there starting most games. Michael Gonzalez is the only one who has started at left tackle that is not in that normal starting front 5.
About 150 starts combined for all those offensive linemen in their careers coming into this game. So I mentioned both these teams looking for their first ACC wins of the year coming into this game, and for both of these teams, the schedule is not easy down the stretch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
no, it's not. And, you know, Pittsburgh, reeling off a loss last week, but Wake Forest, they're a very good team. James Madison is unbelievable for what you think. You know, their first time in FBS, and they're performing well. Then Clemson, NC State, Kentucky. Yeah, it just does not get easy, and so this was such an important game for Louisville.
Especially coming off that loss at BC last weekend. The margin for error is razor thin right now for Scott Satterfield and company. They've done all they need to do here. Now they need a big fourth quarter from their defense to keep this Virginia offense from exploding. Starling got blockers in front of him. Gets banged down at the 34. Time now for today's Aflac trivia question. Aflac. Aflac. That's what that duck would have said if he had that volume turned up. Brennan Armstrong has 7,874 career passing yards, second most in ACC history by a left-handed quarterback. Who has the most? I'm just trying to think of who were lefties. I don't really think about that much or that often. I mean, the only time you really think about that is if you're a receiver trying to catch the ball from a lefty as opposed to a righty. It comes out differently, but for us, this high up in the booth doesn't really matter that much. We'll think about it. Armstrong to throw. Thompson knocked off his route a little bit by the defender. He was looking for a flag, got nothing. Larissa, you got an update for us?
Tavian Wicks, we saw him walk off the field and go into the medical tent. Unfortunately, guys, he is out for the remainder of the game.
Oh, that's big news. Thank you, Larissa. Tavian Wicks not going to return for the remaining 10 minutes and 52 seconds of this game, and you're down by 17.
Billy Kemp's already out, too, so you're going to see a lot more of Demeek Starling.
No question. Armstrong will run it. He's got all kinds of daylight. Got tackled, though, is closing on it nicely was guess who? MJ Griffin.
Just a great game by Griffin. Had a good career at Temple, transferred here. He's having a great game.
3rd down and 6. Where's 99? He's in the slot there, Mark, bottom of your screen. Now he's in motion to the top. Louisville showing pressure up the middle. They bring it. It's picked up initially. Tight end on the receiving end and a lot of room to run. That's Sackett Woods, second catch of the day, 1st down and a lot more.
Tell you what, Sackett Wood is out there on kind of a decoy. He's leading, trying to get the defenders to follow him, and then they want to hit Keaton Thompson in behind him, but just good job of running the right route, and Brennan Armstrong finding him.
27 yards. Demeek Starling with the catch.
right in there, and great concentration coming up with the football as MJ Griffin was closing in.
On that play, it's interesting, too. You can see the attention that Thompson drew from everybody as the up man. Armstrong went over the top. Armstrong inside to Sackett again at the 9.
Sackett's first catch of his career was last week, had a 9-yard reception, and he's had 3 so far today.
Armstrong wants to move quickly. Pressure coming. They get him. Sack number 6 on the day. Yasir Abdullah finally gets home.
And Yasir Abdullah, slower start in terms of statistic-wise this year, but last year he had 16.5 TFLs and 10 sacks. He is a force off the edge. The coaches told us, like, they can't block him in practice. And so when he gets going, knows you're going to throw the ball, watch out. Another obvious passing situation for Virginia.
3rd and 10, got to get inside the 5. Starling trying to get free. Got inside the 5 near the goal line before Griffin ran him out at the 2. They'll mark it even closer to the 1, it looks. Or will they? Let's see what it looks like he stepped out at the 5, but and it's 4th down, Mark.
Yeah, 4th down.
So he stepped out here at the 5, and it's maybe 4th down about a foot. Stopped initially, but the second effort got it for Hollins. What an effort by Hollins, because he was almost down.
Wow.
He bounced out of there and fell forward for a yard. He wasn't going to get it if he'd have been called down where he was initially hitting that line of scrimmage.
Well, how about those last 2 plays? Just individual efforts, first from Starling, and then here, I mean, Yasir Abdullah is on top of him, and he sneaks out to pick up the extra yardage. You talk about bench players in basketball making an impact. I mean, this is...
Previous play is under further review.
I don't know about this review. It's not necessary. It clearly made the line to gain.
Yeah, what? I'm not going to review and say his forward progress was stopped.
We'll let you know what we find out when we come back. 34-17, Cards on top, Virginia drive. There's a look at Gary Patterson, our referee, our replay official, Michael Webster, up in the booth, reviewing that last play to make sure that Mike Hollins made it to that 1st down marker. He's got to get the ball just inside the 5-yard line.
After further review, it was determined the ball carrier was stopped short of the 4-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Louisville, just outside the 4-yard line. 1st and 10, Louisville.
Wow. Whoa, hold on. 1st and 10 Louisville outside the 4-yard line. So he still got the 1st down. I think they're reviewing the yard, but no, other way around. You're right.
It's a turnover on down.
Wait a second. Because I guess from our angle, we thought you had to get to the 5-yard line, right?
Just inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah. So if the line to gain is the 4-yard line, he doesn't make it.
This isn't what's in question. Is right here where that knee was. Where was the ball when that knee went down? That left knee touches first. Right there is where the ball is.
Well, it's just where's the line to gain, and it looked like it was the 5-yard line.
Cooley carries. Either way, it's something Virginia's going to have to overcome here in the 4th quarter. They got to get the ball back as fans are starting to head to the turnstiles already at Scott Stadium. We're just going under 8 minutes. Well, I apologize for being presumptuous on that spot, you know. I thought it was pretty clear that he made the line to gain just inside the 5, which he did, but that wasn't the line to gain. Cooley. Fake to him. Domann keeps. Gets a couple. Clary makes the stop. Now this Virginia team really got to get up the field here, Mark. If they can get a stop, they can get the ball back in good field position.
And again, this is a much different Louisville offense this year, but remember, Last year, Louisville down by 17 points in the fourth quarter. Virginia down by 17 points in the fourth quarter, and Virginia marched all the way back for the win, so it's been done before.
Father Time is against Virginia. That's why they got to get a stop here. Cooley, first down and more. Still on his feet outside the 20-yard line. That's a big first down by the Cards. Domann knows it too. He lets Luke Handra know about it, his offensive lineman, high-fiving all of his offensive linemen.
Look at that. Talk about leadership. Leadership from behind the curtains at times. And we mentioned Malik was not able to travel to this game, so he's at home right now. He's watching the guy who sits in meeting rooms with him every single day doing what he's doing here. And he's got to be, you got to imagine he is so proud of what he's seeing from his friend out on this field.
Cooley carries for 3.
I don't know Malik Cunningham well, but gotten to spend some time with him, talk to him over the years, and if I know anything about him, he is not, there's no jealous bone in his body right now. He is excited for his team, and he's excited for Brock Domann and the success he's had in this game.
Louisville will have a week off before playing Pitt at home after a couple of road games, so it'll be their first time back in Louisville in Cardinals Stadium in quite a while, in 2 weeks when Pitt comes to town. So Malik will have that off week to further heal. Certainly wish him the best and hope he gets on the field pretty quickly. But Domann's done a really nice job today, and this is another part of it. All the way out near midfield, another first down, goes Dwayne Martin.
How about that play? He puts the ball in the running back's chest, he pulls it out at the last second and finds the receiver in the flat. This has to have great timing and just a great job getting the ball up and over top. You had Dwayne Martin, who has yet to have a catch this year, only had 1 catch last year in 12 games.
Homecomings fans heading for the exits. Virginia, meanwhile, they've got about 10 days before they have a Thursday night affair in Atlanta against Georgia Tech. Turner in the game. He'll be dropped for no gain on first down. Cards are doing exactly what they needed to do after taking over on their own 5. Chew up some clock, get out from under the shadow of their own goalposts.
A lot of credit to Lance Taylor. He's gotten his guys in a rhythm. I thought he's done a really good job of mixing run, pass, setting up different plays, some shots, loosening up this Virginia defense, and then when it comes time to run the clock, the offensive line has responded and moved Virginia's defensive line completely off the football.
Jordan. Virginia selling out to stop the run. Now we might get some timeouts. Yep. Tony Elliott starting to preserve as much clock as he can while his team's on defense. Cards looking to run down the clock and pick up their first ACC win of the year.
By Subway. Try the all-new Subway Series menu. Your pick of 12 irresistible subs.
Virginia's got to get a stop on defense. Maybe that young lady right there, Emma St. John, can help. For more on what she means to this team, let's send it down to Larisha.
Emma is actually the first female defensive signal caller here at UVA. And I asked the coaches, what does she bring to the team? They said, hey, we were just really impressed with her knowledge, and she helps us to expand. And Emma said that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to be able to have an actively contribution to this team.
There you go. And, you see the kind of 3 different people there all signaling in signs right now. And one's a defensive lineman who's wearing that number 2 penny, and he's signaling a signal. And then you got the person in the green jacket signaling a signal, and then Emma signaling one. And different series or different halves, they'll switch up which person's live. And so if you're on the opposing team looking over, you never know which is a live signal or not.
Rolling on the field, ball carried in the line of game. Previous plays under further review.
I'm not saying anything about line of gain reviews. I'm all for it. I'm all for it there, Gary. You do you. 17-point lead for Louisville right now, and this is obviously an important call in this game. Virginia's got to find a way to get the ball back. They can't do it. This drive started on the 5-yard line after a turnover on downs when Virginia was trying to put it in to keep this a game, and Louisville's done everything they needed to do. Run the clock, improve field position, keep the ball away from Brennan Armstrong, and salt this game away. Let's take another look at that. Huggins, Bruce, man, that play has been great for them today. Just being covered up by Paul Akiri. Taking a look, see where he goes, see where the ball is. If you can see right now, not down yet because he's on Akiri. Now he goes down. It looks like he rolls over the defender. It might not have been Akiri, but he rolls over the defender before hitting the ground, Mark.
Yeah, it looks like the 44-yard line is the line to gain. And where does he touch down? Right there.
Right there.
Just
Looks
depends,
like he's on it.
Depends where the ball is.
You agree with that? It looks like he's on Akiri's belly and rolls over before he hits the ground. That apparently is what Gary Patterson and our replay official Michael Webster are discussing at the moment. You want to show Virginia's schedule? I mentioned they got Georgia Tech a week from Thursday. That's on the road. That'll be in Atlanta, Thursday night game. So that'll be cool to watch. And then their schedule also is not really that easy. Week to week, the difficulty of a schedule kind of changes a little bit. Like you thought Miami maybe was a little bit better, and then they lost to Middle Tennessee. We'll see what they do against North Carolina. And
After further review, the ruling on the field of a first down stands. First down.
All right, still a first down, so Cards will be able to chew a little bit more of that clock, but
yeah, but it's not the same, right? Like, you look at the intensity level of Louisville's schedule going forward. You got some of the big guns on there. Like, there's no Wake Forest on there.
Virginia's much more 50-50 kind of the rest of the way. Like,
UNC,
you can lose a bunch of those games or you can win a bunch of those games.
Right, UNC is just, I mean, putting up massive points on offense, but their defense
they can't
is
stop anybody. That might be the game where Virginia's running game finally gets going. Fresh set of downs for the Cards. The freshman Maurice Turner gets about 4 yards. How about the confidence in the freshman not to put the ball on the carpet? You know, you give it to number 20. When it's 4-minute offense time, want to run this clock down. Tyon Evans still nursing that leg injury he suffered last week at BC. So Turner getting a lot more looks today.
Yeah, and can you imagine if they developed Maurice Turner into a game-changing back as well, and then if Jalen Mitchell can return, I mean, and Tyon Evans can return, I mean, then you got 5 guys who can all really play, and you can distribute it out and make sure no one gets tired, have fresh running backs in each time you want to run.
Turner here. It's clothesline at the point of attack. Let's answer our Aflac trivia question. Brennan Armstrong, 2874 career passing yards, second most in ACC.
Timeout, Virginia. That's their second charge timeout. 30-second timeout.
By a left-handed quarterback, Tanner Price. Yeah, I would have just forgotten about that. 8,900 yards. I didn't know he was a lefty.
Hey, question, did you actually make that Aflac quack on the first time?
Yeah, I did.
It sounded exactly like, I did not, I wasn't looking over at you, and that was just uncanny.
Maybe when I get canned after this game from the ACC network, I got some voiceover work in the future.
Hey, at least you can quack.
I can tell you this, knowing what people make doing voiceover work, like big-time voiceover work, whoever does make that quacking sound for Aflac is making money hand over fist.
Yeah, this is one of those guys you see at the beach, and they got, get the nice house. Like, oh, what do you do? Well, I say Aflac like a duck.
One of the rooms in that house is a recording studio.
Yeah, of course.
Get up in the morning, record a couple of quacks, go on with the rest of their day.
Yep.
Third down. Wahoo's got to get a stop here if they want any chance, and they don't. Cooley bounces off defenders. He runs hard, man. All these running backs run really hard, even though some of them are not exactly the largest in terms of stature. I mean, Cooley, 5'10", 210. He's really the stockiest of all of them. Turner's 5'10", 186. Gerard Jordan, speed demon, 5'10", 180. So without Evans, who brings a little bit more of a thump, they rely on smaller backs, but they hit the hole hard. They run hard. They run like bigger backs.
They do, and when there's when they can, they do, and they explode through the line of scrimmage, and that's good. And you saw Brian Brown. There's certain plays that signify like this is close to the end. Not just don't turn the ball over, but you saw on the sideline, like after that run, the coaching staff. I mean, they were jacked up. They were fist pumping. They were high fiving. Satterfield taking the headset off, and the credit to Satterfield. I mean, it was a week where you get beat by a Boston College team that was struggling, and you gave up some big plays on defense. And Satterfield said, "Look, I need to make sure that I help focus on some of the defensive side of the ball. Nothing against Brian Brown and what he's doing as D coordinator, but let's focus there." He did that. This defense played well, didn't give up any of those huge plays, and really after that 10-point deficit in the first half, I mean, it's been 34-7 since then.
Yeah.
And a phenomenal game by this whole staff and the players.
And this drive started with 8 minutes and 11 seconds left on the clock, and the Cardinals run that entire time off to secure their first ACC win of the year. They go on the road to do it against Tony Elliott and the Virginia Cavaliers. And for Brennan Armstrong, the frustration of this season continues. It's back to the drawing board. They'll have about 10 days, as we mentioned, before going to Atlanta to take on Georgia Tech on Thursday night.
And, sneakily, Brennan Armstrong threw for 313 yards in this game. I think this is the most yards he's thrown for this season, but just on the ground. 25 attempts for 6 yards rushing.